I remember talking to one of my friends and telling me that they had a family emergency back in the village. One of their uncles and aunties were no longer together. They seemed like were working well. The guy would go to work, stay at home, take care of the children, do a few household items, keep animals, and everything looked all good and well. So I asked, so what happened? And what was making their marriage not be able to work? And what was it that was causing it to be a family emergency? That everyone from cousins to uncles to aunties were all involved in trying to find out what to do to be able to solve the issue. I ask, so what happened? And he tells me that his uncle had come back from Nairobi. They live in the village. He had come back from Nairobi and was just getting into the house, had taken a shower, and while he was in the shower, he had commotion outside his house. People were banging the door, women were screaming, and a lot of commotion was happening, just like any other man. When you come into your house and there's such a commotion, you want out and figure out what is. You go out and ask with a towel, of course, because you were in the shower and you had not even finished your shower. You come out and ask, what is happening? And you are met with an angry mob of women. Some want even to strip you. Some are saying this is the husband. Some are already taking household items. Chaos in the village. And you ask them, what is the problem? They say that you are the person who has been eating your wife's money, the loans that you have given her, and you are not paying. Look at his extended stomach, his big stomach. He's just eating our money. A lot of shame in the village. And people know how we live in African villages. You live together with your relatives. You're causing chaos within the village. All of a sudden, you become the agent or the item that most people are laughing at. You are the laughing stock in the village. You are being laughed at because women were threatening to remove your towel because you came from the bathroom. And you ask, let me call my wife and figure out what is happening. You try to call your wife, she's no longer available. She's not in the house. She has disappeared. Does the person know that the wife took her several few items and disappeared to her own home, where she has come from, and she has left the husband struggling to figure out what to do. They start picking cows and chicken, and they start picking several things in the house, and the guy is confused. The guy doesn't know what to do. He is already half naked. He doesn't know what to do, and the wife disappears. To cut the story short, the people take a few things and they leave. The wife is nowhere to be found, cannot be found on the call. Later on, to figure out she went to her home village. She disappeared from her marriage. What actually happened? So after they sit down with the family, they realized one or two things. That the lady had taken a loan for her household. In fact, it was a loan to buy a water tank and one cow. A loan to buy a water tank and one cow. She had taken a loan to be able to improve her family. So it was not ill motive on her part. She did not take the money and spend it anyhowly. She took it to secure her household. But here is where the problem comes. It was a bad loan. Why was it a bad loan? The thing is, bad loans are characterized by several things. The first thing is they're usually given to people who have subpar credit, people who do not have a way of showing that they can be able to pay, people who are a bit do not understand a few things here and there, do not understand loan terms. They're given big documents with a lot of information, sometimes even no documents, and they sign that I owe this amount of money. Sometimes they even sign things like, say, I've given you one, you are given 1 million, or for example, you're given 1 million and they say that you owe them 2 million. But because you are too excited in getting a loan, you're too excited getting this and that, you end up already incriminating yourself by putting yourself in a big debt. In fact, some don't even show the interest rate. So you are the kind of person who is preyed on. So they prey on people who do not have an income, people who do not have knowledge, people who do not have understanding. You're the kind of person that they are preying on. The thing is, such loans do not have documentation. I remember my friend asking, is there any document that you can be able to read? They could not be able to trace documentation to show that you were given a loan on this day, this was the interest rate, this is how much you need to pay. all the details that are required. In fact, they don't even need you to have a bank account loans. They have no documentation. Basically, it is writing, I owe you money, you owe me money, I want to give you this loan. Such kind of a setups, and you owe me this amount of money, obviously more than what you are given. The other thing is, even if you calculate the interest rate, is terrible. Sometimes as high as 60% per annum. Some of them disguise these loans by saying it is 1%. The loan is 1%, but they are not telling you it is 1% of what? Is it 1% weekly? Is it 1% monthly? Is it because all these terms mean a different amount. If you say it is 1% weekly, it means it is as high as 60%, almost 60% interest rate per year. If you say it is 1% per day, it is almost 300% interest rate per annum. If you say it is 1% per annum, then it is 1% per annum. Basically, you pay the principal plus a percentage of what you call interest. But because the interest rates are so high, you end up paying a lot more than you initially took. So those are the other characteristics. The other thing is they have punitive penalties. They say that you're going to pay this amount on this day. And when you delay to pay, it does not matter how much money you have left, you're given a penalty. For example, you owe them 4,000 that you have not yet paid. You are to pay the 4,000 today, but you forgot. Sometimes people forget, you forget, and you pay tomorrow. But you already surcharged 5,000 penalties on 4,000 debt that you are paying the following day. Then they charge an interest on the same punitive charge. Basically, it is a scheme that is connived to be able to keep you enslaved, to keep you in a way of just paying and paying and paying and paying. And they're not targeting the people who know. They're not targeting the folks who have knowledge, who live in the cities, who can be able to ask this or that. They're targeting the villagers. In fact, this lady was given a water tank, a 5,000 water tank that was surcharged 60,000. 60,000 does not equate to a water tank. Then she was given a cow. She was told that this is a Frisian cow, but on the closely investigation, it was not a real Frisian cow. It was black and white, but it was not a Frisian cow. It was something in between everything, but it was not a Frisian cow. It was supposed to give her milk, and from the milk proceeds, she could be able to pay off the loan. This cow could not produce enough milk. She was conned from the start. She was given a tank of 5,000 liters that was charged double what it should have been, sometimes even triple what it should have been. She was given a cow that does not produce milk. Then you are charged 50,000 for a cow that is not even worth 10,000 shillings. That is how she's put and conned. And the other thing is they start hedging the loan that they've given you against your assets. Oh, she has several cows, other cows, she has several other chicken, she has some sofa and all these things that you will lose in your house. Things that if your spouse finds out they have gone, it is going to be trouble for you. Those are the things that they hedge their loan against. Then this is the other trick, and that is why the reason that the ladies disappeared. They use intimidation tactics. Intimidation tactics as threats. We are going to imprison you. We are going to harm you physically. We are going to do this and this. We are going to shame you, because what they did was shaming. They shamed the guy. They come, they want to undress you, they want to tear you, they want to scream, they want to do all these things. Shaming. They are very forceful. They do not have restraint. This is because they know that they cannot logically be able to argue a case in court of how much you owe them, because even the judge will see the punitiveness in which they come in. So they come with a certain forcefulness so that you go down and are fearful and end up paying without questioning. So they are very intimidating. No wonder the lady disappeared. She did not want to face her, and she knew the husband would have so much wrath. She did not want to face the husband. She took a loan for good effect. Everyone would want to improve their household, have water for their family. When the rains are not when they do not have enough water, they have some rain that they have got in the tank. When there's not enough food, they have a cow that has milk and they can be able to educate their children. Good intentioned loans, but bad knowledge and people who are preying on her. And when all these things meet, it becomes so much to be able to handle as a marriage, and most marriages end up in divorce. A lot of people even enter marriage with debt without disclosing. I owe this amount of money to so and so. Get to know, are you marrying somebody who is coming with debt? Are you marrying somebody who is coming with problems that are going to bog you down as a family? And even others do even something that is worse. You enter into marriage, do a wedding, and take a subpar loan for you to do the wedding. Basically, you're going to feed 600 people for a day and remain in debt for 5 years. Doesn't make financial sense at all. You end up taking a loan that you and your wife are going to struggle paying. You're going to be frustrated from the start. In any marriage, you want a period where you are enjoying each other's company before you can be able to handle the difficult problems or the difficult issues or the stagnant times. You need a period of enjoying yourself. And that is why when people get married, people do not bother them. They do not come to visit them all the time. They want to give them this honeymoon period. But when you take a loan for a wedding, you enter marriage with the trouble from the start. Your marriage is already on the rocks because remember, people who are broke are not happy, are not pleasant, are not willing to be able to work on the issues because they are already deprived of the joy because somebody is calling them, somebody is threatening them, somebody is doing this and that, somebody is saying, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Most marriages cannot be able to survive such an attack. And remember, statistically, it has been noted that 30% of all marriages, and those are the ones that are known, end up in divorce because of finances. And when you couple bad debt, bad loans, and put them in marriage, and where you bring them in some sort of secrecy, where you do not disclose whether it was good intention or not, the penalties, the interest, the threats, the intimidation, all this chaos ends up breaking most marriages. I wish that a lot of women would be educated, especially in the villages, because that is where the people who prey on them come. Because they know these ladies are not going to move away like in the towns. They're not going, they live in their homes. They're always going to be in their homes. They know that these women may have limited knowledge. They may not know everything. And they know some of these women, their husbands, who may be able to give a second eye, actually live out of town. And they target these women and they end up bringing these marriages and these women down because of bad debt. The intention is not for financial improvement. The intention is for enslavement and getting money from them. I hope that you are learning, you're growing, and becoming better in your financial affairs. Remember, subscribe to the channel because by subscribing, you'll be able to get new videos as they come up and get suggestions of old videos that can be able to help you in your financial journey. My name is George Kingori, your online finance guy. Thank you and enjoy your day.